He-Man and the whole Masters of the Universe franchise kind of missed me entirely back in the day. I was too not born yet to catch the original cartoon and the movies. G.I. Joes and Star Wars figures had kind of replaced He-Man action figures by the time I came of age. And, without having any history with the franchise at that point, I was a little too old to start caring when the new She-Ra debacle happened, and when that whole weird Kevin Smith series bait-and-switch deal was going on. But even though I was never invested in Masters of the Universe, I can appreciate it from the outside looking in, and the love a lot of people have had for the franchise for 40 plus years. So while I can't pretend to know how longtime fans of the series will receive the new Masters of the Universe movie, I enjoyed it quite a bit. And I hope those fans did too. Masters of the Universe is goofy, self-referential, self-aware, campy, and above all, fun. In short, this movie is exactly what I think it should be. The movie looked good, most of the humor landed, the music was great, and it even had some heart underneath it all. And anytime Jared Leto is not a complete drag on a movie he's in, that is a rare occurrence indeed. So we'll talk more about what makes Masters of the Universe a fun superhero fantasy romp after we get in a quick recap of the movie. But right now, you have the power to heed this spoiler warning. We begin in Eternia, where the scrawny Prince Adam struggles to live up to the expectations he thinks his father has of him, to grow into a great warrior and defender of Eternos, Castle Grayskull within, and the entire planet of Eternia. One day, Skeletor and his evil warriors attack Eternos, and the royal family is forced to flee. Adam is entrusted with the Sword of Power, a sword that has great power imbued within, and he's sent through a portal to Earth while his parents fall into Skeletor's hands. After landing in Oklahoma City, Adam spends the next 15 years drawing pictures of memories from his childhood and searching for the Sword of Power he lost when he arrived. Obviously, no one believes his stories about where he's from, and he's beaten down by a scary accurate depiction of soul-sucking HR work in a modern office during the safe space era. But one day he gets a message from someone who's found the sword he's looking for, which is mounted in a statue in a comic book store. After Adam makes off with the sword, nothing really happens. But after he's arrested for the scene he made retrieving the sword, a mythical beast man appears on Earth and hunts him down. Just when Adam is facing certain death, his childhood friend Teela, who is all kinds of grown up now, shows up to save him. The two catch up while they blast off toward Eternia, which after 15 years of Skeletor's rule is looking more like Detroitia. In Eternia, none of the old defenders of Eternos believe this is really Adam, so he and Teela are thrown into a cell. Just before Skeletor and his forces, in search of the sword, attack. They break out and make a run for it, but find Skeletor's minion Trapjaw standing in their way. And when Adam's HR-inspired de-escalation techniques don't work, he has a vision that guides him through speaking the right words that turn him into his alter ego, He-Man. Now empowered and beefy, Adam cuts through Trapjaw and his goons, and they escape. Out in the wilderness, Adam has another vision telling him more about who he is and his destiny to return peace to Eternia. And he and Teela have a little moment where he's about to kiss her when she drops the F word, friend. But then Skeletor puts a message out to the world claiming dominion over it and the Sword of Power, before saying that Adam's parents are still alive. Adam, feeling his new powers a little too much, decides to go straight after Skeletor in Snake Mountain, where he finds his dad being held captive by the skull-faced supervillain. Adam fights off Skeletor's minions, but in doing so he brings down the ceiling on his own father. Before he dies, Adam's father assures him that he was never a disappointment in his eyes. Skeletor uses this touching moment to knock Adam out from behind, take the Sword of Power, and throw him in the dungeon with all the other heroes of Eternia and his mother. Here, Adam inspires and rallies them to bench press the bars off their cell. Unable to make use of the power of the Sword of Power, Skeletor heads to Castle Grayskull where he believes he can harness its power. Adam and Teela ride Adam's pet green tiger Cringer into the castle where he faces off with Skeletor, who gets the better of Adam, breaks the Sword of Power, and stabs him with the broken sword. Defeated, Adam is shown a bunch of false memories and a vision where the royal family's old sorceress Bird Lady explains that the great power of Grayskull was never within the sword, it was within him the whole time. Now re-empowered, Adam comes back to Eternia, the sword reassembles itself, he's got the power, he's all beefy again, and then he tries to talk it out again, like a true HR drone would. Skeletor laughs at him and mocks him for thinking there's any good left in him to appeal to, as he explains he's a supervillain after all. So Adam has to beat that ass before exploding Skeletor's staff, destroying Skeletor and the corruption that engulfed Eternia, restoring it to its former glory. 6 months later, everything's all good in the former hood, and Adam reveals his childhood name for himself as He-Man. And after everyone makes fun of it, we get one last sequence of He-Man riding Battle Cat off into the sunset and toward another adventure. The end. Masters of the Universe is just a fun movie that seeks to entertain, plain and simple. It never takes itself too seriously. Quite the contrary, as it's constantly taking shots at itself, mocking the characters' simplistic names, and it's perfectly fine owning and embracing its one-dimensional characters. It's corny, goofy, silly, fun, and, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that makes it true to the original series. It features basic, but tried and true themes of living up to expectations and finding strength within oneself. A few times the movie seemed like it wanted to make a larger commentary on masculinity and what a man is expected to do, but the movie couldn't really bring itself to pull the trigger on it. Most of them were lost on me, but even I could tell that there were a lot of references to characters from the original series. And the names that Adam gave those characters in his childhood, being the source of those names everyone knows them as, was a real nice touch. As was having a car stereo blasting snaps, and as was having the nearly fourth wall breaking Dolph Lundgren cameo, which I was far too happy to see solely because the last time I saw him was in The Rats. And Skeletor, as always for this franchise, is a great villain for this movie. He was powerful and menacing when he needed to be, unrepentantly evil, and in true Masters of the Universe style, the movie made him sufficiently corny at times. And I thought he was portrayed well, so imagine my shock when I saw that Jared Leto of all people was the voice behind the skull. Now, just because it's a fun movie, don't mistake this for a glowing review. While much of the humor landed, there were probably a few too many instances of humor. The action was largely just serviceable, with a few scenes that had better action. I just think that it could have been harder hitting, which I know they're capable of because the scene where Adam starts fighting in Snake Mountain was very hard hitting. Ratcheting those other action scenes up one more notch, laid against how fun the rest of this movie was, would have taken this one to another level. And we probably could have done without Adam's final HR de-escalation attempt in the last fight. It's not out of place in a movie like this, but opting for a more traditional final showdown format at the end would have landed better for me. Other than that little hiccup, the movie was well paced throughout, bringing more than enough action to carry the story without any lulls. The story though, it's exactly what you'd expect. It's simple, it's heroic, it's triumphant, and the happy ending was never really in doubt. Let's be real, I don't think anyone is looking to Masters of the Universe for a showcase in masterful storytelling. But this movie is just fun, and it's not trying to be anything that it's not. It's still early, but Masters of the Universe is doing pretty well with audiences, probably better than was expected. On Rotten Tomatoes, audiences currently have the movie at an 88%, while it's getting a 7.7 on Metacritic. It's Friday when I'm putting this together, and as of right now, the opening box office numbers are not too good. And on a $200 million budget, He-Man better hope he has the staying power in theaters to turn a profit. As for me, I'm giving Masters of the Universe a 7.5 and a great watch label. And while I'd recommend you watch it at some point, I'm not going to say it's something you need to rush out and see if you only have a passing interest in it. Did you have an interest in Masters of the Universe? Are you someone who grew up with He-Man action figures, cartoons, comics, and movies? If so, what were your expectations for this movie? Let us know in the comments below. And remember to leave a like on the video if you liked it, and subscribe to HateWatchers for reviews of other current shows and movies. Thank you for having the power to be self-aware with me today, and I'll catch you on the next one.